So, I am on a job to install a patio. A lot of times I end up skipping these installs just because they're pretty basic and I've done a few of them, but this is actually in a 55 and older community, which I have done another patio over there and a patio 2 houses down. So figured I'd film this one, and it's a little interesting. Basically we have to come off this side of the driveway here to make it around the back. And then once we're in the back here, we are pretty much making a patio that comes about 3 feet out from the deck stairs all the way over to here and all the way into the building. So it's sort of like a little staggered patio in, and that's mainly due to the fact that she only has the property 15 feet off of the house, and then the rest of this is community space. There's also septic there, there's septic there, and this is all community space behind there. So the only access I have is this side, and it's basically the same deal with all the other ones that I've done here. You pretty much destroy the way in and then you fix it on the way out, which sucks, but it is what it is. For this job, I'm pretty much planning on working in and out of the buckets in the trailer, so I'll be doing the dig out with the excavator and doing it right into the bucket of the skid steer. And as you may notice, this skid steer has wheels. That is because last year my dad picked up a used S64 from our Bobcat dealer so he could do plowing on their road since it's private. And it turned out that our family friend, who's a mason, needed a skid steer for the day, so I rented him out the track skid steer since what he was doing was more applicable to that. And for this job, really all I'm doing is toting materials, so having the wheels might be nice just because it'll be less damaging, hopefully, on the pavement and driving in and out of the backyards. So I guess to get started, I should get the mats out so I can protect the edge of this driveway, and then we can unload the trailer. All right, so as I mentioned, we can go 15 feet off the building, and then we match to the end of the stairs and to the edge of the bulkhead. So I'll get that measured out real quick. And I believe I only saw one sprinkler head in here. My guess, just like the other few patios I did, actually the other one right over there behind the arborvitaes, there was a main line the guys ran through and then they just funny piped off of it. So that sprinkler head is likely saddled off of that main line. So I might be able to change the direction of the funny pipe and just reroute it. But if I hit the line and I break it, I'll have to fix it. So that's why I brought the pipe. But let me get this measured out and we'll start digging. Alright, so I pretty much squared up off the house off of the bulkhead that's on it, and then I just took the measurement off the other corner of the house and a little bit over the edge of the deck. Nothing like extremely accurate, but I'm basically about 6-inch overdig there, 1 foot overdig on this edge, and then of course this edge over here will be pretty much bound by the bulkhead, so you can't overdig that one too much, but I can just clean up this edge a bit more, pull that away a bit more and put some more stone in there. So what I'm going to do now is try to pull up that sprinkler head so I can at least take that off and then maybe locate where the line is in here. Alright, so the main line is right here. That means it's going to be dead center of the patio, so I'm going to try to dig with it in there. Hopefully it's going to be pain, but we'll see how far we can get. So with most all patios that I do, I try to match to some feature, whether it be the highest point, a stair set, a driveway, whatever it might be. So for this one, the entry and exit way is going to be these stairs, so I want to make sure that the top of the patio is about -7 from those stairs. So that's around the bottom of the kick plate. So I'll kind of play with the blocks when I'm at the screeding level to either slip them under the plate or just abut them to the plate. Just depends on the height. But from the top of the bottom step, I basically want to go -7. And then another -2-ish for the block, -1 for the screed level, and then somewhere around 5 to 6 inches of stone. So I'll be around -14 to 15 at a base level dig out. So everything that I'm going to dig out within the orange line is going to be roughly -15. So as I go back, since we're going closer to the house, I'm going to go up some. So I can still dig it out to -15, but I'm going to try to, of course, have the patio pitch up, so by the time we get back to the house we'll probably be an inch or two higher than this front step, so that water sheds off. So as we go back, it doesn't have to be as deep. Alright, that gets all the topsoil stripped out. It's about 5 buckets worth. There really isn't good topsoil in this development. It's pretty rocky. That's how it's been for the last 2 patios I've done. So once you get the sod out of here, it's just all rock. So I wanted to try and keep it a little bit separate so I can just toss that in my loam pile, and the rest of this I can use elsewhere. So I need to take about another, on average, 4 inches out of this space. We will go dump the trailer and then come back and dig some more. Yeah, I also just picked up the string trimmer and the blower combo kit of these since I have a bunch of those batteries. These things work pretty well. The string trimmer is pretty strong, and this thing's really nice. Should have got one a long time ago. I know a bunch of people that have them. It's just really nice to do these quick cleanups, especially when you get a little dirt out of the trailer or off the bed. You just clean it up off the driveway or the street real quick without having to sweep it and shovel it. Because that's the toughest part of these lots, is everything's finished, and I don't want to dump anything on the driveway or the road because it'll just dig right in as soon as you track over to drive over it. So working in and out of the trailer is going to be the name of the game. So as I've shown in other videos, I have a loam pile back here. It's not the cleanest stuff, but it is a lot of topsoil. And a couple weekends ago, I ended up just scooping it and throwing it back more. So basically there's a steep drop there. So there's a big pile of this stuff here, and it goes all the way back to that other bottom of that hill. So at some point I might go ahead and screen this, maybe get a screener or borrow somebody's screener and clean this up so I have usable loam at my house that I can take on to jobs where I need some small patchwork and places aren't open. But for now it's kind of a mess, but I try to put anything that I get that's loamy in it. So this topsoil will be all right to put in there, but definitely needs to be screened before it's used. So that was pretty good. I ended up saving that whole sprinkler line, didn't break it, got to dig around it. I was gonna cut it, but turns out that's a 2-inch line and I have 1-inch line, so I couldn't replace it if I broke it unless I went back to my house, got the other line, and went out and bought new fittings. So I said, just leave it in one piece. And what I'll do is I'll just put a longer piece of funny pipe on and wrap it back out and put the sprinkler head out here. Got a little bit of a mess on the pads, but I'm going to pick that up tomorrow after I bring all the stone through, because I'm going to drop more material there anyway. And then I just had one accidental back drag of the bark mulch, but I can rake that back in and blow it into the space. I'm going to get some more mulch anyway to fix this after. The wheels are doing pretty good. They're not really tearing stuff up as the tracks would, but it'll still leave some depressions. The material here is really hard, so everything that's underneath here is not moved too much, so it's really just that it kills the grass. But this trailer is really full. I am going to need to use the machine to empty it. It will not, I mean, I haven't tried it, but this definitely will not go up. So I was hoping for a little bit less material, but there wasn't as much topsoil to balance out the 2 loads. Well, next morning I got stone, and as I was saying last night, don't follow my example. I asked for 6 tons and I got 7.3. So my total gross weight was actually over 26,000 pounds. So that's the first time I think I've tarred out of there over 26,000 pounds, and luckily I only had to go, less than 10 minutes from the quarry, but if I had to go any further, I would have had to have somehow remove some stone there because it is a very heavy load. So I was thinking of backing the trailer up here, but I just got too much weight in it to really back it up properly. The other issue being is if I did back up the trailer, when I'm scooping out of it, that tree would be in my way, the house would be in my way, and it would just be a pain. So I'm just going to continue with toting the material with the skid steer. I can't remember if I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but the reason that I'm not dumping anything out of the trailer and loading it into the bucket with the excavator is because the finish on these driveways and road seems to be pretty weak. It really doesn't take much to turn up the surface on it and really gouge it out. So when you're using rock like this and you're trying to scoop it off of the driveway, it just mashes it in and destroys it. So I really wanted to avoid that, and loading over the mats keeps it from getting on the pavement and keeps me from pushing it into the pavement, and then I can just go back and sweep it up at the end. So saves me a lot of hand labor putting it back into the trailer, because as you can see, I still have at least 2 tons in there that I would have to put back into the trailer, and this just makes it a lot easier, more calculated. And now all I have to do is just sweep up a little bit of stone. Even yesterday, one of the guys that does the landscaping around here, he was called by a couple of the customers to come check out tire marks that supposedly the mowers were leaving. So even small equipment like that's doing damage. So it's really tough in these developments where you just don't have that kind of freedom to bomb right into the yards. Very nice. So I forgot to bring my little spray bottle, but the hose reached just far enough that I just kind of blasted the whole thing with water, and it should be totally fine. The reason I just generally don't use the hose is because it can kick up the poly sand, but so I think it turned out really good because I only had to make cuts along the back wall there, of course, because of the fact that I'm basing it off the stairs, so it's not going to be an even distance back to this wall. But overall it was pretty square with this. I think this bulkhead isn't square because it does diverge from it, but all my cuts along the back were the same length. I'm just going to stone inside there, and then like I was saying before, since we have such a big grade change, I left this side a bit off the deck so I can actually get some stone in there. Same with the underside over here and behind the stairs. So for today, since it's the weekend, I'm just going to take all the hardscaping stuff out of here and get all the items I don't need, and then I'm going to come back at the start of the week and put loam in on the sides and clean my way out. Alright, everything is out of the back. Got all the gravel put in behind the patio underneath the deck and up against the bulkhead. So all that's left for back here is putting some loam around the edges and then cleaning up the tracks going out. But yeah, you can see out here, all I did was park it and then drive forward, and there's just marks. It's ridiculously soft because it's getting so warm now. About the best I can do. I mean, I retamped it in, but this stuff is just so fragile that it really shouldn't be this way. It's been over half a year since it was paved, so, and that was through the winter and everything. All that's left to do in the loam, I'm going to do that in the morning, so I shouldn't have too many issues with the pavement then, and it'll be a pretty straight shot. Well, got everything cleaned up, loam, seed, and straw. Went pretty easy on these tracks because it was just one track width. I stayed right in that track so I could just clean these up nicely. Only aggravating part was the wind keeps changing direction, so throwing down the seed and straw was kind of annoying. And then we got the back here all cleaned up around the patio. So this thing's looking pretty nice. So overall, I think it came out pretty good. I'm very happy with it. Went in nice and easy. And they'll be able to enjoy it because they get a good amount of shade back here during the mornings and evenings. So, all right, well, this one's all done. On to the next one.